She screamed, "Don't touch me!" But when he shoved her onto the concrete, the entire base froze. Jacob and Emma Reynolds grew up in a small town near Dallas, where as children they spent hours watching fighter jets fly over their homes. Their father was an Iraq War veteran who taught them from a young age to never abandon each other. So when they both entered the U.S. Air Force Flight Academy at the same time, people talked about them as the legendary brother and sister who passed every challenge together. After years of training, they were assigned to Nellis Air Force Base, where they began flying F-35s. Emma quickly became one of the best pilots in her squadron, but that was exactly what started to irritate senior instructor Mark Davis, a man everyone feared because of his connections and temper. At first, he only stared at her strangely and constantly asked her to stay after training. Then he began touching her shoulders and whispering disgusting jokes. Emma sharply rejected him several times, but Davis only laughed and told her she would never become a real pilot without him. One evening, after night flight training, he cornered her inside an empty hangar between the jets and demanded that she treat him better. Emma pushed his hand away and loudly told him to get away from her, but Davis suddenly grabbed her uniform, pulled her close in anger, and violently shoved her. She crashed onto the concrete so hard that the back of her head struck the wheel of a fighter jet. The entire hangar instantly went silent. Several mechanics froze in shock, and at that exact moment, the hangar doors slammed open as Jacob walked in after returning from a training flight. He saw his sister lying on the ground, her hands trembling and blood near her lip, and in that second, every trace of humanity disappeared from his eyes. Jacob slowly walked over to Emma, helped her stand up, and silently took off his jacket to place it over her shoulders. Davis tried to mutter something about it being a misunderstanding, but Jacob stared at him as if he was ready to kill him right there. The mechanics were too afraid to even move, because everyone on the base knew how close the brother and sister were. Emma quietly whispered that she didn't want trouble, but Jacob had already pulled out his phone and showed everyone that the security cameras inside the hangar had recorded everything. Davis immediately turned pale. He lunged toward Jacob and tried to grab the phone, but Jacob shoved him away so hard that he slammed into a metal toolbox. Minutes later, military security officers stormed into the hangar and escorted Davis out in front of the entire squadron. The next morning, the entire base was talking about what happened. Many female soldiers finally began speaking out about how Davis had harassed them for years and threatened their careers. The investigation became national news, and for several weeks, Emma barely left her room. She was terrified to even sit inside a jet cockpit after that night. But one morning, Jacob silently walked into her hangar, tossed her pilot helmet toward her, and said, "Dad taught us never to quit." Together, they lifted their fighter jets into the sky above the Nevada desert, and as the sunlight broke through the clouds beneath them, Emma smiled for the first time in weeks, while her brother's calm voice echoed through her headset, "As long as I'm alive, nobody will ever hurt you again."